Remember the cheesecake we had last week? That was delicious. Whatever happened to it? I finished it. The entire cheesecake? Last night at 2 a.m. I only got to have one slice. I was nervous. I couldn't help myself. I was a chazir. At least one of us got to be happy. But that's just it, Hanan. It might have felt good in the moment, but it didn't make me happy. And what's wrong with having a little bit of pleasure in your life? There's nothing wrong with pleasure. Absolutely nothing. The problem is when the pleasure becomes the goal itself. Isn't that the point of doing something pleasurable? To experience pleasure and be happy? You can be experiencing pleasure and be very unhappy. And you can be experiencing pain in your life, but still be happy. Okay, now you've completely lost me. Okay, look. When I ate the cheesecake, it made me feel good. I wanted to feel good, exactly. But then I asked myself, what was bothering me so much that I needed to distract myself with a good feeling of eating 3/4 of a cheesecake at 2 o'clock in the morning? Can't you just like cheesecake? I mean, it made you happy to eat the cheesecake. It certainly gave me pleasure in the moment. I mean, who doesn't like a good piece of cheesecake? But in that particular instance, the cheesecake had a lot more to do with my unhappiness than my happiness. You're way overthinking this, Daddy. You simply had too much of a good thing. I mean, if it were me, I would have just stopped after a slice or two. Of course, but it's not always that easy to stop, Hanan. For example, how many hours a day do you spend on your tok-tok? It's TikTok, Daddy. That's what they said. TikTok's fun. Of course, it's designed around what you want. That's what makes tuk-tuk so irresistible. TikTok, Daddy. TikTok. And it's just some funny videos. Hanan, don't be so naive. Everyone knows that the program can tell what you click on, what you spend more time looking at. It gets smarter and gives you more of the things that you like to look at. And what's so bad about that? Nothing, if you want to spend more and more time influenced by TikTok and making money for the advertisers. Well, TikTok is kind of a waste of time. But honestly, I spend most of my time on Instagram. But they're all the same thing. Whoa, now hold on a second. Instagram allows me to stay connected with my friends, and the world for that matter. Remember how important connection is? Dr. Waldinger, Harvard study? I have over 18,000 followers on Instagram, Daddy. Dr. Waldinger spoke about deep quality relationships. How many of these 18,000 followers would come to visit you if you were sick? Well, it's not like that, Daddy. I still have my close friends like Mark and David. When was the last time you had lunch with Mark or David? About a month ago, maybe 6 weeks. We're all busy. Meeting for lunch requires a huge time investment. And how many hours a week do you, Mark, and David spend on Instagram? Well, that's just it. Instagram lets us stay connected without having to invest that much time. But you are investing time, a lot of time, but not in your friends, in the phone and the advertisers. Don't feel bad. It's designed that way. Every time you get a like, a follower, a view, you feel a sense of reward. And it gives you that pleasure instantaneously. They should have called it insta-pleasure. That's a good one, Daddy. But what makes it so insidious is that while you are sharing a video of a cat playing piano or tweeting about how outraged you are about a politician, those manufactured mini doses of pleasure make you think you are more connected, but you're actually spending less quality time with your friends. You are more disconnected, more alone, and therefore less happy. I know. I mean, it's true. When I spend the day on social media, even though I'm enjoying myself, for some reason, I do feel pretty lousy afterwards. But I just don't understand. How is it that pleasure can make you unhappy? Because Hanan, and this is important, so please try to hear it. When you try to fill your unhappiness with pleasure, with what you want, it's never enough. It can never be enough. It can only lead to an endless search for more and more pleasure. It's what my cheesecake and your Instagram have in common. Deep down inside, we know they are making us unhappy, but we still keep coming back to them because it's the quickest and easiest path for momentary pleasure and comfort. But that's not a recipe for happiness, Hanan. It's actually a recipe for addiction. Look, Daddy, I may like my phone a little too much, but that doesn't make me addicted. You know that sudden urge to check your phone? It's not that different than when I have the urge to smoke a cigarette. In fact, last week I saw two friends having lunch in a restaurant and then suddenly stopping their conversation for a quick phone check. What would you call that? You're making a good point. So meet my friends in person without using my phone. And that's the secret to happiness? It's a great start, but true happiness requires a few additional ingredients. They're essential. They're actually right in front of us. We're just looking in all the wrong places.